Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 10th edition of the Goa Arts and Literature Festival, or GALF as it is commonly known as. Uh, Keynote speakers Professor Harish Trivedi and Ms. Priya Ramani, artist Savia Viegas, Mr. Curators Mr. Damodar Mauzo and Mr. Vivek Menezes, Mr. Yatin Kakotkar, President of the International Center Goa, trustees of the International Center Goa, delegates, members of the media, and everybody else, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the International Center Goa, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the landmark 10th anniversary edition of the Goa Arts and Literature Festival. The festival is organized by ICG, as we commonly call ourselves, the International Center Goa, in association with Goa writers and with substantial support coming from the Government of Goa, specifically the Department of Art and Culture and the Department of Tourism. The first edition was mentioned earlier on. The first edition was held from 12th to 14th December 2010, with the Department of Tourism, Government of Goa as the principal sponsor, and with the support of the Sahitya Academy, Goa Konkani Academy, Gomantak Marathi Academy, and others. The keynote address at the inaugural was delivered by the great U.R. Anantmurthy. If one goes through the relatively short list of sessions that were held the first time you had GALF, one session held after another, one can find a few names only a few names actually, from outside Goa who are attending the 10th edition. Jerry Pinto is here, Mr. Jerry Pinto. He was here for the first edition in 2010, and I'm not counting those from Goa. There are about a dozen or so. And Mridula Garg, Ms. Mridula Garg, who's due to participate in the 10th edition. And as I said, there are many more from Goa who are with us here today. Our 10th anniversary is a reason to celebrate, and I'm sure for the next 2 days we'll have a lot of that. For a small festival like GALF to survive and indeed flourish for all these years, I think is a huge achievement. And ICG, with the support of the Government of Goa, has played a major role in ensuring GALF's success. It need not be said, of course, but any festival like this incurs substantial expenses, and for the last year, more than anyone else, Mr. Kakotkar, the President of the International Center, has shouldered much of the load for raising the funds needed for organizing GALF. Our 10th anniversary is also an occasion to reflect and to introspect and to consider the future. Should GALF continue the way it is now? What are those things that need to change? What others need to continue? I'm saying this with a smiley face because these are very, very obvious questions, but also they are important questions, and they're actually very, very serious questions. What can be done to make the festival better, more attractive in terms of audiences? This is the first time that we are having the opening at the newly renovated Laran Lawns. We inaugurated this venue with the first ICG annual lectures held in early April, with Matrish Ghatak of the London School of Economics delivering a lecture on universal basic income. So I sort of had a feeling that this would work out as a very good venue for the opening, and I think it has. Now back to the questions. All these questions which I raised earlier are relevant to all literature festivals and similar programs. But they are even more important for a boutique lit fest like GALF, where the numbers of especially outstation delegates have to be limited. You would have noted from attending previous editions, many of you who have been here multiple times, that there are only so many people we can accommodate. And we remain small. We have chosen to remain small. Mr. Menezes, Vivek earlier reminded me that we have chosen to remain small, but that also means that we have to be selective in terms of how many people we can actually bring. In 2018, it was a difficult decision to make. We decided to reduce GALF from 3.5 days to 2.5 days. Are other changes needed? ICG and I especially would be happy to receive feedback from delegates, especially as I mentioned, those who have been to GALF on multiple occasions on this and other matters. GALF curators, Mr. Mauzo and Mr. Menezes, have put in a lot of effort, they do each year, to bring writers from Goa and across India. It's not an easy task, and a few from abroad, including those from the Goan diaspora. The quality of programs at each GALF owes to their skills and judgment. So on behalf of the International Center Goa, I thank you both. A few words about ICG before I thank all other friends and supporters of GALF. ICG has existed since 1996 and organizes a variety of programs with a growing emphasis on academic and semi-academic events. Since 2016, and we are going into a fifth year of this particular program, we have been co-organizing difficult dialogues and annual international conference that focuses on one key theme of relevance to India. Past conferences have taken up topics such as health, civil society, gender, and education. In February 2020, the theme is the state of law. ICG also organizes public lectures on a variety of topics, including, as I mentioned, since 2019, earlier this year, the ICG annual lectures, and Matrish Ghatak spoke on universal basic income. In 2020, awaiting final confirmation, Christine Fair of the Edmund A. Walsh School of Foreign Service, Georgetown University, will deliver the second ICG annual lecture. She is an expert on terrorism and on Pakistan. ICG also organizes a program called Kitab, which brings emerging and experienced writers to ICG to discuss their new books. Recent guests have included Pooja Mehra with her book, The Lost Decade, and Nikhila Henry with her book on student unrest in India. ICG also organizes Patrakar, a program that brings some of the most established journalists in the country so far to ICG for an informal discussion about their work. Sankarshan Thakur, the author of highly regarded biographies of Lalu Prasad Yadav and Nitish Kumar, came to the center earlier this year in February. Sir Mark Tully, the author of Far Too Many Books to Count, was ICG's guest in September. Last year, we launched the annual ICG Research Grants Competition. Two Bengaluru-based academics, Dr. Malini Tantri and Dr. Nalin Kumar, are now receiving substantial financial support for their research project on nutrition security in Goa. This year, ICG's research grants have been awarded to Ms. Devika Gupta for pursuing her research on the association between dating violence and mental health among young people in India. We have more than 2,400 members, which include journalists, academics, policymakers, lawyers, business people, bureaucrats, and others. Our 30-odd institutional members include several academic institutions, the Indian Institutes of Technology in Bombay, Goa, and Roorkee, Goa University, the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, and several other universities and think tanks. Now to the thank yous. On behalf of ICG, I would like to thank our festival partners, Goa Writers, and the Directorate of Art and Culture, Government of Goa. Thank you, Ms. Savia Viegas, for preparing the official GALF artwork. Thanks are also due to our sponsors, donors, hospitality partners, media partners, and volunteers. GALF 2019, the 10th edition, anniversary edition, has received significant contributions from Goa's Department of Tourism, Indian Oil, Dempo Group, the Goan Group of Newspapers, HDFC Bank, Kotak Mutual Fund, Ask Wealth Advisors, Difficult Dialogues, Axis Bank, and Sahitya Academy. I also thank all those who have contributed advertisements in the festival brochure and offered assistance in kind. Mr. Mauzo and Mr. Menezes, and I have to repeat this, have worked very hard to put GALF 2019 together with great care. This year, the media has been very generous with their coverage of GALF, and I thank them for that. A big thank you to all the speakers and delegates for joining us for GALF 2019, but last and not the least, actually the last, I would like to thank the ICG team, and I know this because over the last 3 or 4 days I have been really seeing them, or the last 3-4 months I have seen them work very, very hard. Mr. Galileo Fernandez and also Ms. Teja Nayak and all others. They have put an immense amount of time and effort to make this Lit Fest happen. Thank you, everyone.